Okay, so our last topic is rational expressions. So this is the quiz we took right before we started reviewing for the final. So lots of X method, lots of factoring, and then crisscross. If you remember, when we multiply fractions, we just multiply the tops together and the bottoms together. But when we multiply fractions, we want to make sure we do our keep, change, flip, where we keep the first one, change it from division to multiplication, and then flip the second fraction. So make sure you're paying attention to which problems are being multiplied, which problems are being divided. So here is the first one. You will have a multiple choice and a free response, just like every section on this test. Remember, 6 multiple choice, 6 free response. So this is asking us to simplify the expression as much as we can, simplified fully. So this has 4 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Unlocked.
If we look at our 4 parts, we're trying to see, is there anything we can factor? So when you look at these 4 parts, what can you do to all 4 parts? There are 3 terms. That means we can do the X method. So we're going to have to do the X method 4 times. 1 for each highlighted part. So I'm going to start with my yellow. So I'm going to draw my X. When I look at my yellow, I'm going to multiply A times C, which is 1 times negative 12, negative 12. My B value is 4, so I put the 4 in the bottom. Divide both sides by my A value, which is 1. And now I'm looking for 2 numbers that multiply to negative 12 and add up to 4. So here's where, if you have your factor sheet, it might be super helpful. But our 2 numbers would be 6 and negative 2. 6 and negative 2. Those multiply to negative 12 and add up to 4. When we simplify our fractions, we're just dividing by 1. So we have 6 and negative 2. So these are going to become our factors. Because it's multiplication, we're going to multiply right across the top. So my fraction, I need to put my 2 factors. X plus 6, X minus 2. They're both on the top because that yellow was on the top. Okay, let's do our green. Another X method. It has 3 terms. So we draw our X. My A value is 3, my B value is 11, my C value is 6. So we multiply A times C, 3 times 6, is 18. My B value is 11, and I'll divide both sides by A, which is 3. Okay, so that's our X method set up. Hardest part is finding our 2 numbers that multiply to the top and add up to the bottom. Okay, so some ways to make 18, 1 and 18, 2 and 9, 3 and 6. The only one that adds up to 11 is 2 and 9 or 9 and 2. 9 divided by 3 on the left is 3. That's going to be 1 factor. On the right side, this is already a simplified fraction, and you can always check by doing math, enter, enter. So 3 becomes x plus 3, and again, this is green, it was on the top, so we're going to put this on the top. 2/3, we take the 3, put it in front of the x, and take the top number and put it at the end. We have x plus 6, x minus 2, x plus 3, and 3x plus 2 all on the top. Okay, we still have to factor the blue and the purple. Blue and the purple. Okay, so if we do an X method for the blue, we'll squeeze it in right here. A is 1, B is 5, C is 6. So 1 times 6 on the top, b on the bottom. This has an a value of 1, so we divide both sides by 1. Two numbers that multiply to 6 and add up to 5 are 3 and 2. So we have the factor 3 and the factor 2. That blue was on the bottom of a fraction, so we're going to put those two factors in the denominator, the bottom. X plus 3 and x plus 2. And we got one left to do, and that is the purple or pink. One more x method.
Wait, what was the last x method? 6 over 8?
Whoa. This was the last x method right here. Okay, so we have a is 3, b is negative 4, c is negative 4, a times c is negative 12, b is negative 4, and our a value is 3, so we divide both sides by 3. Two numbers that multiply to negative 12 and add up to negative 4. This time we got negative 6 and 2. Multiply to negative 12, add up to negative 4. The left side simplifies to negative 2. The right side's already simplified. We turn these into factors. X minus 2. And again, the 3 goes in front. 3x. 2 is in the top, so we put it at the end. So there, all 4 of our quadratics are factored. We wrote them all as factors on the top and on the bottom. And now we are looking for what is the same on the top and bottom that we can cross out. For example, I have an x minus 2, an x minus 2. I have an x plus 3 and an x plus 3. And then I have 3x plus 2 and 3x plus 2. So the only two things left is x plus 6 on the top and x plus 2 on the bottom. So my answer is B. My answer is B. Now, will your final have that many factors and x methods? No, I just put a lot on here just so we got a lot of practice factoring. But you factor each part, put them where they're supposed to go. For example, the blue and purple, when we factored, were on the bottom of fractions. So we put those factors in the bottom. The top, we factored, we put those on the top, and then we cancel out whatever's the same. Whatever's left over is your answer. Okay, so that is number 1. Your free response is very similar. The only difference is we are not multiplying, we are dividing. The only difference between multiplying and dividing is before we start this problem, we're going to keep, change, flip. So we keep our first fraction exactly the same. 7x plus 3 over 3x squared minus 10x. Nothing has changed. We keep it the same. Our division, keep, change, changes to multiplication. And then we flip. Keep, change, and flip your second one. So 6x squared minus 17x minus 10 on top. 14x squared plus 13x plus 3 on the bottom. Keep, change, flip. And now we just do a normal multiplication problem like we did on that last one. So I like to highlight my parts and see which of these are good to go, which of these need to be factored. Out of all 3 of these, only one of them is all done, and that is 7x plus 3. It only has two terms, and there's no greatest common factor. I can't divide out any x's. I can't divide out any numbers. That is all done. Okay, my blue has the greatest common factor. My green and my purple, we can use the x method. So let's take a look at that, at this green one. So if I draw my x method for the green factor quadratic, I have a is 6, b is negative 17, c is negative 10. So a times c is negative 60. My b is negative 17. My a value was 6, so I divide both sides by 6. There's my x method all set up. Now negative 60 has a lot of factors. If you look on your factor sheet, there's a big list of them. But the only one that works is if we have negative 20 and 3. Negative 20 times 3 is negative 60. Negative 20 plus 3 is negative 17. Finding those two numbers is just trial and error. You check your factor sheet and try all your pairs until you find one that works. Okay, we need to make sure we simplify our fractions. So this is a great time to practice. If you type in 3 over 6 in your calculator, 3 divided by 6, and click math, enter, enter, it simplifies the fraction for you. You should put this in and make sure you get 1/2. 3 divided by 6, math, enter, enter. That is how we simplify fractions in our calculator. Once you've done that one, go ahead and try the other one. Negative 20 over 6. Type that into your calculator. And make sure you know how to simplify. That becomes negative 10 over 3. These are going to become our two factors for the green. So after we squish these together, we know we have 7x plus 3 on the top. That was already factored. It's all done. Our green splits into, for negative 10 over 3, the 3 goes in front. 3x minus 10. 1/2 becomes 2x plus 1. Okay, so our top is all done. We factored both on the top. Well, one was already done, but we factored the other. Now we need to figure out what the bottom's going to look like. So let's take a look at this blue. 3x squared minus 10x. Now 3 and 10 do not have a greatest common factor. They can only be divided by 1. But both of these do have something we can take. What can we take from both of them? We can take an x out of both. If I take one x away from both terms, I'm left with 3x, because I took one of them away.
Wait, is that a 3-1x?
3x squared. Minus 10. After you take away your x. Okay, so we take out our greatest common factor. So here, we have x times 3x minus 10. So the blue factor. It was on the bottom, so we put our factor on the bottom. And when all we have left is that purple to do. 3 terms, 1, 2, 3. We're going to use the x method. Okay, on the top, we have a is 14, b is 13, c is 3. So we multiply 14 times 3, and we get 42. Our b value is 13, so we put it on the bottom. We'll divide both sides by the a value, which is 14. Don't forget to do that. And we're looking for two numbers that multiply to 42 and add up to 13. Which I believe has to be 7 and 6, huh? 7 times 6 is 42. Those add up to 13. Again, we want to make our fractions as simplified as possible. 7 over 14, you type it in. Click math, enter, enter. You should get 1/2. 6 over 14, you type in. Click math, enter, enter. You should get 3 over 7. Writing those two as factors. Remember, the bottom number goes in front of the x. So 2x plus 1, 1/2 becomes 2x plus 1. 3/7, bottom number in front, 7x plus 3. Top is all factored. The bottom is all factored. We put our factors on the top and the bottoms. Yellow and green, the factors went on the top. Blue and purple, the factors went on the bottom. Now we are looking for what's the same, and we can cancel out. So 7x plus 3, 7x plus 3. 3x minus 10, 3x minus 10. 2x plus 1, 2x plus 1. The only thing left in this entire problem is the x, and where is it? It's at the bottom. So what's going to go on top? A 1. Your answer is 1 over x. That is your last topic on the final. Rational expressions.